Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. We got game number 2 of this 3-game series between the Indians and Angels. Leading off for the Indians, playing center field is Lofton. Batting second, playing short's Lindor. Batting third, playing left field is Manny Ramirez. Batting fourth, playing first base is Hafner. Batting fifth, playing right field is Carter. Batting sixth, doing the catching is Alomar. Batting seventh, playing second base is Bargren. Batting eighth, playing third base is Herrera. Batting ninth and on the mound is Cliff Lee. And now for the hometown Los Angeles Angels, leading off playing left field is Otani. Batting second, playing second's Gritch. Batting third, playing center field's Trout. Batting fourth, playing first base is Glaus. Batting fifth, playing right field is Solomon. Batting sixth, playing third base is the Sensei. Batting seventh on the catching is Molina. Batting eighth, playing shortstop is Ferguson. And batting ninth, we got the battle of the lefties. Cliff Lee going up against Frank Tanana, batting ninth for the Angels. Let's get down here to the stadium and get this game started. And Kenny Lofton to lead it off, batting .214 with 2 homers and 3 RBIs. Frank Tanano, 19 and 10 with a 2.53 ERA in 1976. And here's the pitch to Kenny Lofton. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Otani for out number 1. 1 up and 1 down here in the first. And Francisco Lindor is up now. And he's batting 1,000. He's 1 for 1 on the year. And that's going to be against the lefty. Make him a 10. And that's going to be a base hit in the center field. Lindor's aboard here, still batting 1,000. Lindor down at first. 1 out here for Manny Ramirez. And Manny, his first plate appearance of the year in 1999, he batted .333 with 44 homers and 165 RBIs. And that's going to be a 13. Excuse me. And that's going to be an infield hit for Manny Ramirez. Manny being Manny. And now it's first and second and 1 out. And Angels trying to make some noise, get their first win. They're 0-3 on the year. So you got first and second here. They're trying to keep these Indians from scoring. Now you got Travis Hafner up. And Travis, first plate appearance of the year, he batted .308, 42 homers and 117 RBIs in 2006. Let's see what he does here. And that's going to be a ground ball back to the mound. 22 on a 1. That's going to be fielding column 2. And that's going to be the old 1, 4, 3, F1 first, safe at second. Nope. So that's going to be the old double play. The 1, 4, 3 double play. And that'll win the inning. And Indians strand 1. We go to the bottom of the first. Indians nothing. Angels coming up. And Otani, Gritch, and Trout will lead off this top of the first. Otani batting .167 with a homer and 1 RBI. And he'll be facing Cliff Lee, his first appearance of the year. And Lee in 2008 was 22 and 3 with a 2.54 ERA. And here's the pitch to Otani. That's going to be a fly ball out the left field. Ramirez makes the catch for out number 1. And Bobby Gritch comes to the plate now. Bobby's batting .091, no homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Carter. 2 fly balls, 2 quick outs. And Mike Trout's up now. And Mike is batting .273 with 2 homers and 3 RBIs. And that's going to be a base on balls. Trout's aboard here with 2 outs. And let's see if he's going to try to get in the scoring position. And he is going to try to get in the scoring position. That'll be a 4-31. He's going to try to steal here, folks. So 61 or lower, he's safe at second. 61 or lower for Mike. And he's in there with a stolen base. So you got a runner on at second. 2 outs. And Troy Gloss is up now. Troy's batting .200 with no homers and no RBIs. You drive him in, and he sure can. He squares this one up, folks. And that's going to be a maybe not here. Let's see. That's a single in the left field with 2 outs. He might not score. They're probably going to send him though with his speed out there. And 2 outs. 29. So it'll be a 55 or lower. Mike scores. And he's in there. So that's an RBI single for Troy Gloss. And the stolen base pans out. And the Angels take a 1-0 lead here. And runner down at first now. 2 outs for Tim Sullivan. And Tim's batting .250 on the year with no homers and no RBIs. Here's the pitch to Tim. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second. Carlos tosses it over the short way to Lindor. And that'll end the inning on a 4-6 putout. But the RBI single by Gloss makes it 1-0. You can see the Angels' upcoming schedule. They got one more game here against the Indians. And then Boston comes to town for 3 games. Then these Angels go on the road to play these same Cleveland Indians. And now top of the second, you got Carter, Alomar, and Carlos due up Joe. Batting .167, no homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Bobby. He tosses it over to first for out number 1. And Sandy Alomar is up now. And his first plate appearance of the year. In 1997, he batted .324 with 21 homers and 83 RBIs. And that's going to be a ground ball down the second again. 2 ground balls to Bobby, 2 outs. Carlos Barger is up now. Carlos is batting 1,000. He's 1 for 1 with a homer and 2 RBIs on the year. And that's going to be against the lefty. 20. And that's going to be a fly ball out to left. Utani makes the catch. And that'll do it, folks. 1, 2, 3 goes the Indians. To the bottom of the second, you got the Sensei, Molina, and Ferguson up. So Doug DeSensei's batting 100 on the year, no homers and no RBIs. And that's going to be a fly ball out the left field. Manny makes the catch for out number 1. And Benji Molina's up now. And he's looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3 on the year. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Cliff Lee strikes him out for out number 2. And Jim Fergosi's up now. Jim's 0 for 3 on the year also. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Joe Carter. That'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3 goes. The Angels to the top of the third we go. We got the bottom part of the order due up here. Toby Harrah, Cliff Lee, and Kenny Lofton go back to the top. And Toby's looking for his first plate appearance of the year, batting .304 with 25 homers, 78 RBIs in 1982. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Nope, that's going to be a fly ball out the right field for out number 1. Now you got Cliff Lee up. And his first plate appearance, and Cliff was 0 for 5 in 2008. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that's Frank's first strikeout of the game. We're back to the top of the order now, and Kenny Lofton's 0 for 1, flew out the left in the first. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Jim at short. He fires over to Troy. And that'll do it. 1, 2, 3 goes the Indians. To the bottom of the third we go, and the bottom part of the order due up here for the Angels. And you got Frank Tanana, and then back to Ohtani and Grich. Frank, his first plate appearance of the year. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Cliff Lee strikes out his second victim of the game. Back to the top of the order, and Ohtani. And he's 0 for 1. He flew out the left his first time up. Not this time, folks. That ball is high. How far is this one going to go? And kiss it goodbye. Ohtani, with his second homer of the year, gives these Angels a 2-0 lead. And you got Bobby Rich up, nobody on and 1 out. And he's 0 for 1. He flew out the right field in the first. And that's going to be another fly ball out to Carter. And that'll be 2 down now. And Mike Trout comes up to the plate. And he walked and stole the base and came around to score in the first. And that's going to be a 40. Rare play, a 14 and a 40. And a 40. And that'll be a swing and a miss, strike 1. So here's the 0-1 pitch to Trout. And that's going to be a ground ball down the first. Hafner takes it himself. And that'll end the inning. But Ohtani, with the second homer of the year, gives the Angels a 2-0 lead as we go to the fourth. You've got Lindor, Ramirez, and Hafner due up here for the Indians. And Francisco's 1 for 1. He singled back in the first. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Frank strikes him out for out number 1. Now you got Manny Ramirez up now. And he singled back in the first. And that's going to be a fly ball out to right field. And Solomon makes a nice catch. Takes a base hit away from Manny for out number 2. And Travis Hafner comes to the plate now. Travis is 0 for 1. He hit into that 1-4-3 double play back in the first. And that's going to be a base on balls. First walk of the game by Frank. Got a runner on at first. 2 outs for Joe Carter. And Joe grounded out to second. He's 0 for 1. Back in the second. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. He strikes Carter out. And the Indians strand 1. To the bottom of the fourth we go. You got Gloss, Solomon, and DeSensei. Troy's 1 for 1. He had an RBI single back in the first. And that's going to be well hit. Troy's having a hell of a game here. See where this one ends up at. And that ball is launched out in the left field. And he's going to run for a while. And that Brandon Hines-Simmons making the turn to third. And he's in there with a lead-off triple, folks. So runner down at third. Nobody out. Already 2-0 Angels. We're going to play the defense back. Try not to give up a big inning. Solomon's 0 for 1. He grounded into a fielder's choice. And that's going to be a pop-up. Let's see here. A 32 and an 8. And a 32 and an 8. That might be a line drive double play, folks. Yep, that's a line drive double play. Nice play by Carlos. Fires over. Troy gets too far off the base. And that'll be 2 outs now. So a line drive double play. 2 down, and Doug DeSensei's up now. And DeSensei's 0 for 1. He flew out to left back in the second. And that's going to be a base on balls. Can Cliff Lee get out of this inning with nobody scoring here? So you got a runner down at first for Molina. Molina struck out back in the second. He's 0 for 1. That's going to be against the lefty. 4 against a 8. That's going to be a single in the left field. And the Sensei will stop at second with 2 outs now. And how big was that double play now? First and second, and Jim Fergosi's up. He flew out the right back in the second. He's 0 for 1. And that's going to be a 2 balls and no strike count on him. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And that's going to be against the 16. That's going to be a pop-up down the short, and that'll end the inning. So Cliff gets out of this inning with nobody scoring thanks to a double play line drive. And, Angel strand too. Let's see if that comes back to bite him in the butt. We got the Alomar, Carlos, and Toby due up here. Sandy's 0 for 1. He grounded out to second in the second. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Mike for out number 1. You can see the team comparisons. The Indians are 2-1, 22 strikeouts, 7 walks, 8 doubles, no triples. And the Angels 0-3, 32 strikeouts, 4 walks, 7 doubles, no triples. Carlos is 0 for 1. He flew out the left in the second. And that's going to be a base on balls. Frank walks his second batter of the game. Brings up Toby Hara now with a runner down at first and 1 out. And Toby, he flew out the right back in the third. He's 0 for 1. And against the lefty, that'll be a 14 and a 9. And that's going to be an infield hit for Toby. So now you got runners on first and second and 1 out. And the Indians trying to get back in this game down 2-0 with runner in scoring position. Cliff Lee's going to try to bunt them both over here, folks. Here's the pitch to Lee. And that's going to be a 26, a 51, and an 8. And that'll be fielding column 1 on a sacrifice. That's down the third. The Sensei's only plays over to first with Bobby covering. So the runners will move up. So now you got second and third, 2 outs. And we're back to Kenny Lofton at the top of the order here. Lofton's 0 for 2 today. Can he drive in some runs here and tie this ball game up? Here's the pitch to Lofton. And that's going to be popped up down the short. And Jim makes the catch out in shallow left field. And the Indians strand too. To the bottom of the 5th we go. Still 2-0 LA. You got Tanana, then back to the top of the order, and Otani and Grich. And Frank's 0 for 1. He struck out in the third. And that's going to be a ground ball down to Toby. He fires over to first for out number 1. And Otani, who homered his last time up, he's 1 for 2. Back in the third. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Cliff gets him this time. That's Cliff Lee's 3rd strikeout of the game. 2 down for Bobby. Bobby's 0 for 2 today. He's flown out the right both times. And he figures why not make it a hat trick. Joe Carter says he'll oblige him. He makes the catch. And a 1-2-3 inning to the top of the 6th we go. Angels hanging on to a 2-0 lead. Lindor, Ramirez, and Hafner due up here. And Francisco's 1 for 2. He's singled back in the first. And he does more than single this time, folks. That ball is high. That ball is far. Lindor cuts the lead in half with a homer over Ohtani's head. And it's 2-1. Nobody on, nobody out. You see the team comparisons. Cleveland 2-1 with a 255 average, 311 on base percentage, slugging 627 and an OPS of 938. And the Angels 0-3 batting a $160 with a 186 on base percentage, slugging 520 and an OPS of 706. Manny's up. He's singled back in the first. He's 1 for 2. And we dropped the dice for the first time in the game. And that's going to be a 9 against the 13. And that's going to be an infield hit. Manny Ramirez with his second infield hit of the game, folks. Manny being Manny, he's aboard here with nobody out. And Travis Hafner's 0 for 1. He did ground into a 1-4-3 double play, walk back in the 4th as Beatles joins us here. And here's the pitch to Travis. And that's going to be a 17. And that's going to be a ground ball down the short, 44 and a 10. And that's going to be a 6-4 put out. That gets Manny out. That'll be out number 1. Now Hafner's down at first on a fielder's choice, and Joe Carter's up. And Joe's 0 for 2 today. And that's going to be a 15. And that's going to be a fly ball in the left field. Ohtani makes the catch. And now there's 2 down. And Sandy Alomar's up. And Sandy's 0 for 2 today. Hafner's still down at first. And that's going to be 17. That's going to be popped up down the short. Now to end the inning, but the homer by Lindor cuts the lead in half. It's 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. You got the big boys due up here for the Angels. Trout, Glaus, and Sullivan. And Mike is 0 for 1. He did walk, stole a base, and came around the score back in the first. And you see the Cleveland Indians' upcoming schedule. They got one more game here in L.A., then they travel to Oakland for a 2-game series. Then they head home to take on these same Angels. So here's the pitch to Mike. And that's going to be a fly ball out the right field. Carter makes the catch for out number 1. And Toby's up now. And Toby's 2 for 2, folks. He has singled, drove in a run, and tripled back in the 4th. And that's going to be a fly ball. Kenny Lofton's out there. Makes the catch for out number 2. And Cliff Lee comes to the plate now. No, it's not. Let's get this right. That was Troy Gloss up. Now we got Tim Sullivan. We'll get this right. Tim's up now, and he's 0 for 2. Here's the pitch to Tim, and that's going to be a base hit in the right field, a 2-out single. Keeps the inning alive here. And Doug DeSensei now with a runner down at first and 2 outs. In a 2-1 ball game. Doug walked back in the 4th. He's 0 for 1. And that's going to be a grounder down the 2nd. That'll end the inning. We go to the top of the 7th. It's 2-1 Angels. And we got Carlos, Toby, and Cliff due up here. Carlos 0 for 1. He did walk in the 5th. And he's going to single, a leadoff single to start this inning off. So tying run down at first, go ahead run at the plate, and Toby Hara. Toby's 1 for 2. He singled back in the 5th. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Frank strikes him out. Now you got Cliff Lee up, and he's going to try to bunt Carlos down the second. Cliff is 0 for 1. He did have a sacrifice bunt his last time. Oh, that ball's bunted down the third. And that's going to be, nope, it's not bunted down the third. He missed both attempts. They're going to keep the bunt sign on. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And that's going to be bunting in front of the plate. And Benji's up with it. And he's going to fire down the first with Bobby covering. So that'll get the runner over in the scoring position with 2 outs now. And we're back to the top of the order in Kenny Lofton. And Kenny is 0 for 3 today, folks. Can he drive in Carlos? Tie this game up? Nope. That's going to be a swing and a miss. Frank strikes him out. Indians strand 1. We go to the 7th inning stretch. It's 2-1. And we got Benji due up here. He is 0 for 2. He'll be followed by Fergosi and Tanana. And Benji with the pitch. And that's going to be a base on balls. So Molina's down at first with nobody out. And Jim Fergosi's up with a runner down at first. He's 0 for 2 today. Can Jim do something here with a 2-1 lead? Give the Angels some insurance runs here. That's going to be a fly ball out to Carter for out number 1. Now we got a decision to make. Do we take Frank out? He's pitching a hell of a ball game. 6 hits and 1 run. We're going to let him bunt him over to second. That's what we're going to do. Let him stay in the game. That's going to be a bunt down the third. Toby's up with it. Fires over to first with Hafner covering. And that'll get the runner in the scoring position now with 2 outs. And Ohtani's up. He's already homered in this game, folks. He's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch to him. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Cliff Lee strikes him out. We go to the top of the 8th in a 2-1 ball game. You got Lindor, Ramirez, and Hafner, 2-3-4 hitters due up here. And Lindor's having a hell of a game. He's 2 for 3 with a homer. So here's the pitch to Francisco. And that's going to be a Baltimore chop in front of the plate. Benji jumps on it, fires it down the first. They get Lindor. Nice play by Molina. We got 1 down here. And Manny's having a nice game. He's got 2 infield hits. He's 2 for 3 today. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Manny strikes out for out number 2. And that'll bring up Travis Hafner. He's 0 for 2 today. He did walk back in the 4th. And that's going to be a fly ball out the left field. Ohtani gets it. That's a 1-2-3 inning. To the bottom of the 8th we go. And they'll get K-Rod up in the bullpen. Try to save this game probably in the 9th. You got the 2-3-4 hitters due up here against Cliff Lee. And Bobby is 0 for 3 today. He's flown out all 3 times to Joe Carter. And not this time. That's going to be against the lefty. That'll be a fly ball this time out the left field. So Manny makes the catch for out number 1. And that brings up Mike Trout now. Trout 0 for 2, single, stole a base and scored in the 1st. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. Mike strikes out for out number 2. Cliff trying to keep this a 1-run game. Give the Indians a chance here in the top of the 9th. And And look at Troy Gloss, 2 for 3 with an RBI, single, and a triple. Here's the pitch to Troy, and that's going to be a base on balls. Troy's down at first with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Solomon. He's 1 for 3. He's singled back in the 6th. And that's going to be a fly ball out to Kenny to end the inning. And the Angels strand 1 to the top of the 9th we go. And like I say, old K-Rod, Francisco Rodriguez is going to come in the game here for TANANA. Try to nail down this first win for him. TANANA goes 8 innings. Gives up 1 run, 6 hits. What a difference a game makes. As the Angels, nice pitching performance. I probably just put the kibosh on them. So let's bring in Rodriguez. He'll be facing Carter, Alomar, and Carlos. And Joe Carter is 0 for 3 today, folks. And he's going to be 0 for 4. So that's a ground ball down to the sensei. He fires over to Troy for out number 1. That brings up Sandy Alomar now. And Sandy's 0 for 3 today. And he's going to be 0 for 4. And that's a swing and a miss. K-Rod lives up to his name. And that's out number 2. And that's going to leave it all up to Carlos. He's 1 for 2. He has walked and singled in the 7th. And here's the pitch to Carlos. And that's going to be a base hit in the right field. Carlos is aboard here. The tying run down at first. Go ahead run comes to the plate. Toby Hara. And let's see here. We're going to pitch hit for Toby. Toby's 1 for 3 today. We bring in Jose Ramirez. Nope, we're going to let Toby swing away. See what happens here. Toby's 1 for 3. Here's the pitch from K-Rod. And that's going to be a pop up behind home plate. Molina takes the mask off, waits for it to come back down near the screen, makes the catch, and that's your ball game, folks. As the Angels hang on to get their first win of the year. Check out the box score here. Are you doing anything later on, Beatles, bud? Check out Beatles Eternally's channel, folks. And let's check out the box score here. Great pitching game here. Angels 2 runs on 5 hits and no errors. The Indians out hit them but couldn't outscore them. 1 run on 7 hits. Lindor and Ramirez, Manny both had nice games only, and so did Carlos. Lindor was 2 for 4, Manny was 2 for 4, and Carlos was 2 for 3. Indians were 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. They left 7 men on base. The only 2-hit performance for the Angels was Troy Gloss. He was 2 for 3, 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Ohtani with the homer. And the Angels left 6 men on base. Cliff Lee goes to 0-1. A tough loss for him. 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, walked 4, struck out 5, and gave up a homer. TANANA gets the first win of the year. His first win of the year. 8 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, walked 2, struck out 6, gave up the homer. And Rodriguez comes in, gets his first save. 1 inning, 1 hit, and 1 strikeout. Take a look here at the standings. See if Beatles is still in here and tells us if he's going to do anything later on today. Yankees are leading the American League East by a game and a half over the Baltimore Orioles, 2 games up on the Red Sox and Jays, and the Devil Rays are 2.5 games back. The Tigers are now a half a game up on the Indians and Twins. Kansas City's a game back, and the White Sox are a game and a half back. The Rangers are a game up on the Mariners, 2 up on the Oakland A's, and the Angels are now 2 games back. Chuck Knobloch and Mattingly's leading with a 500 average. You got Tomei, Ramirez, and Maris leading the American League with 3 homers, and Roger Maris with 7 RBIs on the year. Of course, the ERA leaders is going to be 0, win leader at 1, and Rivera for the Yankees with 2 saves. And you got Jim Tomei leading the MVP voting, and Jim Palmer in the Cy Young for the American League. And game number 3 of this series will be the next thing up on the channel. And we're going to have, looks like, Gaylord Perry going up against Andy Messerschmidt. And it's not Otani. Like I say, it's going to be Messerschmidt. I guess Beatles isn't in here. Alrighty, I want to thank Beatles for stopping by today. Like I say, check out his channel. And if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for reminders. And on your way out, hit that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of this series and this replay. Till next time, y'all have a great day and take care.